What's up, guys? We are back with another review, taking a look at a brand, a franchise, everything really. Here is something that I have never done before, and I've really never even messed around with this company too much. So we're taking a look at the Storm Collectibles, so that's a first for as far as reviews go. Golden Axe, another first, Axe Battler figure. So this guy is, of course, one of the character options in the Golden Axe game, and this guy comes with the dragon mount as well. So I've really been looking forward to this figure. I know he's a little bit old at this point, but I have to talk about him. I have to really dig into him, and this is a good way for me to play with this figure. And I just really am excited to take a look at a Storm figure, because while I have one, I never really did a whole lot with it. So this is the one that I've really been looking forward to just digging into, this whole line in general. So we've got him here as far as packaging goes. Kind of seems like standard stuff for what I know about when it comes to Storm Collectibles. You've got a kind of a game-style artwork shot of Axe Battler down there, the logo, and then you've got a huge window showcasing the figure, but it's all covered in kind of a plastic film on the inside, so it kind of obfuscates it a little bit. The side of the box has the logo for the game, as well as product shots, and then the back of the box is covered in product shots showcasing how he moves, the optional parts, him on the dragon mount, the whole 9 yards, really. So it gives you an idea of everything that's going on in here. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our Storm Collectibles Axe Battler, our non-axe wielding Axe Battler, and his really awesome looking dragon. So I know this guy's been out for a little while, but I finally got around to messing with him, so I wanted to talk about him, and here we are. So we're going to run through all the normal stuff. Let's take a look at articulation first. We're going to focus on Axe Battler first, because he does have, I guess, more when it comes to articulation and what you can actually do with him, and then we'll take a look at our big beast over here. So I'm not incredibly familiar with Storm Collectibles. I have one other figure, and I really only got him because he was on deep super clearance, and I wanted to check him out. This is the first Storm figure that I truly wanted to get because I'm a fan of the property and because I want this figure. You know, they have a lot of cool properties, but it's a lot of stuff that I really don't need to buy. I don't need Mortal Kombat. I don't need Street Fighter stuff, you know, things like that. But this is something that is a huge nostalgia trip for me, so you know, I definitely had a little bit more interest just because of that, because I can remember myself playing the hell out of this game. Well, I mean, I still play it, so there we are. So let's take a look, see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. He is kind of what I expected him to be, but that's a good thing. So we've got a head that can look up a little bit. He does have kind of the rubbery neck area, so you can kind of push him up a little bit, and the hair does get in the way, but he still is looking up quite well. He looks down really good. You've got really good tilt to give him some attitude, and then full rotation there. Arms go out at the shoulders. They, of course, rotate all the way around. You do have a butterfly joint there. We've got our bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows get you to about there. A little bit better than 90. He has ball hinges, so up and down and then full rotation, so in any direction, just orient that hinge correctly. Then you've got your crunch here, so we've got a diaphragm cut. He goes backwards really good. He goes forwards really good. That's without engaging the waist right there. And then he goes side to side, and that's mostly due to the fact that he has like the sort of rubbery sleeve over top of the buck. So he swivels side to side, and then you can hinge him back and forth. And then at the waist, it's a ball peg, so he goes forward, and when you hunch him all the way over, I mean, that's a really good crunch right there. And then he goes backwards about that bit. You will get some gapping if you take him too far, but it works really well. Legs go out. I mean, you can basically get him to do the splits, so the Golden Axe splits if you must. Pretty close anyway. Kick forward all the way. Backwards really good. You've got your thigh cut up there, so it's a swivel at the joint. He basically, you know, he covers the joint, so it's not actually a cut, but it's a swivel up there. You've got your double jointed knees. And then we do have a boot cut that's hidden really well at the seam of the boot. And then you've got rocker, and then you've got hinges at the ankles, and you've also got toe articulation. So this guy moves really well. I mean, I have really no issues with him. The head maybe a little bit. I wish he could look up a little bit more, but at the same time, he still looks up really well. The overall construction of the figure lends itself to some great posing. He's very stable. I've had no issues moving him around or anything like that. Joints are maybe a little bit tight, but not in the sense that I feel like it's a problem. They just need to be worked in a little bit, because you probably heard a little bit of squeaking. But otherwise, for my first real jump into Storm Collectibles, I am very happy with what I'm seeing here. Now, aesthetically speaking, there's really not a great deal to talk about here. I mean, Here he is. He's got some bracers. He's got some very skimpy underwear on him, and he's got some boots. I mean, that's really, and he does have the necklace collar kind of thing going. But I really like this figure. I think aesthetically, they absolutely nailed the look from the video game to translate it into an action figure. He is humongous, and we will do size comparisons to other figures in various scales. Not really any Storm collectible comparisons, but other figures that should be in the same kind of area. Mythic Legions, things like that, Motu Classics, other bigger figures that can fit in the kind of sword and sorcery area. He is humongous, and he is so beefy, he is so bulky. You know, this makes me want to get like an Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilder figure going from Storm Collectibles, because they would absolutely nail it. The musculature on the body is incredibly well done. The striations on the muscle, he's even got really well done nipples. I never thought I would have to say that. And just the paint applications where he has them, because I mean, frankly, he doesn't really need too many, are really well done. The silver on the bracers, it's really just paint there, are clean and crisp. Everything's really bright and metallic-y. The band on his underwear and then the little jewels on his boots are nice. The blue accents really do break up the figure as far as the underwear and the boots. They're just incredibly bright and vibrant and saturated. And then you do have the moving piece for the necklace here, which is more of the same when it comes to the belt. It's the same type of situation as that. It's just kind of links on a chain, really. And then you've got the head sculpt up here, which I really do like. I mean, it very much is a good interpretation of this character in figure form. He's got a little bit of shading on his cheeks, and then eyes are really clean and crisp and straightforward. Eyebrows are really well done. The only true gripe is that the hair does get in the way a little bit, but otherwise, sculpt is really well done. And again, it just lends itself really nicely to an action figure. I never really expected that this would be something that we would be getting, but Storm absolutely killed it in both the articulation and the visuals. I mean, this guy looks pretty much perfect when it comes to representing this character in plastic. Now for the dragon, this guy is, well, he's very much his own thing. It is, of course, meant to be a mount for Axe Battler, though. So there's a very interesting kind of cross-section of things going on here, because it has to be its own toy, and it's its own thing on its own, but it also needs to be an accessory almost to Axe Battler. So it's not the most dynamic thing when it comes to articulation. It certainly does move, honestly, a little more than I expected it to, but it still has to support a really big figure. And in that regard, I think they did a really good job of kind of just making it be everything that it needs to be. It can move, it looks really good, it has great size, but it also works really well as something a very big figure can ride on. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around, because he does move. It's a little bit restrictive just because of what it is. You've got a articulated head, so it goes up and down, and then you can go side to side really good. There is a little bit of tilt on it. It cannot fully rotate though because of the horns, and then you do have an articulated jaw. The neck can go up and down as well, and he goes side to side a little bit, and then you can rotate that as well. The arms go out at the shoulder, and then they go in. You can rotate those, and then there is a single jointed elbow with rotation, so you can move that. And then you've got your standard ball hinges at the wrist, so in and out or up and down depending on how you orient it, and then full rotation there. The legs are, they don't do a great deal, really. They do move. Mine are incredibly tight, so they do pop out a little bit. They're a ball peg in there, so this is connected to the ball, and they do kind of shimmy in and out, and then they will, and you can hear it. It's a really tight, high tolerance thing here, where they will move forward and backward. They are very loud still. You've got hinge at the knee, the first knee, I guess you want to call it, and then you've got kind of the ankle, second knee almost down here. So it's like a digitigrade type of creature. So you've got in and out on this one, and then you've got just a single hinge there, and then you've also got toe articulation down here. So it is pretty well articulated as far as the legs go, but it supports itself surprisingly well. Like, I don't have too many stability complaints with this guy. He's not exactly falling over. He doesn't really want to fall over either, especially when you get a big figure on there. So there is a lot going on here just to keep him upright, and I can appreciate that more than him being super crazy dynamic. And then the tail can swivel back and forth. It goes down. It doesn't really go up because of the spine, so it hits right there, but then you can rotate as well. It's just another ball peg in there as far as construction goes. So they are going to pop out from time to time just like that, but it pops right back in. You'll figure out where the tolerances lie on it. So he does move really well. Like, I don't have any issues with how he's articulated. Again, he's not the most dynamic thing ever, but at the same time, it's everything it needs to be able to support such a big figure while being, again, its own thing. And then aesthetically, I mean, what's there to say about this guy? It's a big red, orange, yellow dragon. I mean, there's just so much cool stuff going on here. And you can obviously use this for a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be just for Axe Battler there. But the sculpt on this guy is pretty crazy. The lack of paint on Axe Battler is all given to this thing, really. So it's got more sculpted detail. It's a much bigger figure. It's a much bigger toy. It has the, they're not soft goods, but they're that kind of really rubbery, leathery look and feel of type of plastic when it comes to the reins and then to the saddle. So there's nothing under it. It's just actually sitting on top of him. And then you've got the stirrups over here. He looks fantastic. Size is really well done. He's not like a massive, massive dragon, but that's not the point either. He's supposed to be, well, in the game, he's not exactly a big thing either. So he's supposed to just be able to support a humanoid, well, a big, beefy humanoid. But I think they did a really good job on this guy. I mean, it's certainly something that you might see folks using with Mythic Legions, or, I don't know, just about anything, you know, throw Lion-O on this guy or throw a He-Man on here, and he would still look pretty cool. But the paint is really well done, the scale work on him is really nicely done, and just everything about it. I mean, I don't have any real gripes when it comes to the overall look, because I think they absolutely nailed the aesthetic for what this thing looks like in the game, again, translated into plastic. And it's just big and it's imposing. Sculpt is crazy, paintwork is really well done, and it's a nice looking toy that is incredibly functional for its own thing, for being a mount for Axe Battler, or for being a mount for anything if you want to just throw other figures on top of it. So it's a really cool piece, and I think it stands on its own. It doesn't necessarily have to be a part of a 2-pack. This is a cool dragon figure just on its own, based on the look and the feel and the way this guy moves. And then, of course, here they are with Axe actually mounted on the dragon. So you can see that there's really no issues with sizing, scaling, or anything like that. And I can attest that this thing just works when it comes to putting him up there. There is really no muss, no fuss. He sits on it well. You can get him to hold the reins just fine. And, like, it doesn't feel like it's going to move. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall. He doesn't feel like he's going to come tumbling off, and the dragon doesn't feel like he's going to buckle under his weight or Axe's weight combined with him. So I'm really happy just in the fact that they work so well together. And then, of course, you know, the fact that he's up here means he does have extra hands to actually grip the reins, so we might as well talk about accessories. So he comes with fists on him in the box, and then you've got an extra set of hands here for gripping, so he can use those to grip the reins, or, of course, other stuff as well, which we will talk about. We've got some extra hands here, so for the kind of splayed style pose hands, you've got those. And then we've got some slightly gripping open palm hands. We've also got an extra portrait for the guy, an extra head sculpt. This is kind of a gritting of the teeth, so it's a little bit more battle ready, just a little more angry of a head sculpt. I do like this one. The mouth is kind of weird on this, but I like just the inclusion of being able to have a second head sculpt. It's very similar to the first, just with a slightly different expression. And then you've got his sword here, which is fairly basic, but it, of course, works well for the source material. So you've got silver blade with a silver hilt, and then you've got some gold inlay design and then a gold handle. It's really big, too. It's actually sized quite well to the figure itself, so good, nicely sized sword. And then you've also got one accessory for the dragon. We've got a fireball effect. So you've got a translucent orangey yellow fireball with some dark orange red paint at the end. It does have a hole on the bottom for a stand, but it doesn't actually come with one, so you know, you can use it with whatever you've got. So I think this is Herbie's stand from the Fantastic Four Marvel Legends set. It's just, I don't know why this is around. Or obviously you can use like a Tamashii stand or something like that, but I don't have anything else big right now on the table. We've got this guy, which appeared out of nowhere. So you've got this option. He can also kind of sit it in his mouth as well, but I like the idea that at least he gets one thing when Axe does, of course, get the lion's share. But they come with basically everything you really need. There's not a whole lot more that you could give this big guy. And of course we have to do size comparisons to give you an idea of how big Axe Battler is, because he is a beefy boy, and he's definitely going to be interesting when it comes to scaling with other figures. He's going to have to be that kind of big bruiser, that big massive figure in your display if you want to mix and match stuff. So we got him here with our Beskar Mando, and then we've got him here with Old Man Hawkeye. As far as Hasbro stuff, so you can see, you know, more 6-inch-ish stuff. He definitely towers over the two of these guys. So let's pull them out, and we'll replace them with some more stuff. So here he is with the Ultimates Raph, And how about a Mythic Legions? Because this guy definitely fits the bill when it comes to size and then type. So you've got Raph over here, and we've got the Vorgus Vermilius Mythic Legions. So even this kind of figure, so these are obviously 7-inch style figures, slightly larger than the majority of figures that you would see at retail. This guy is still like an inch taller, and then of course Raph is quite a bit smaller as well in comparison. And then a figure that sort of fits the 7-inch bill but is larger than average for the line. Here he is with our movie He-Man, so our Dolph Lundgren He-Man, and Axe is still even taller than that. So there is a lot of size to this figure, and I don't know, some more random stuff because he's here, and I don't play around with this one enough. Here he is with the SH Figuarts Boba Fett, because why not? I mean, he's absolutely diminutive by comparison, but Axe is a massive figure. He really has it all. Width, height, girth, everything. He's a big, beefy boy, even in comparison to a figure that is quite large for its own line, because this He-Man is taller than average. So you can see he's got a lot going for him when it comes to being that big heavy that you want to bring in to add a little bit more shelf presence to a otherwise already beefy shelf, probably. So yeah, there's a lot to like with this set, honestly. Again, I've really been interested to get my hands on some Storm stuff for a while, but it's always come down to it needs to be a property that I truly want figures of. And this has been the one that made me pull the trigger, because I really do love this game. There's a huge nostalgia thing for me, and you know that that's a big thing for me when it comes to toys. So it's nice to be able to get something that, frankly, I never expected would ever exist in plastic. So that's cool on its own, but they executed on it so well. He looks exactly like what he should for a figure representation of the game. Being able to get the dragon in the same pack is a great bonus. It is, of course, an expensive 2-pack, but they're both really well done toys from a sculpt, paint perspective, overall design, size. They're both massive. And then, of course, there's a pretty solid array of accessories just to fill everything you really need, because despite the fact that he's called Axe Battler, he does come with the sword, and they gave him just about everything that I could think that he needs, outside of maybe just giving us some more weird, goofy power-up type of items from the game. But I really do dig this set. I'm really happy with it, and I'm looking forward to more Golden Axe stuff. I really hope we can see more from this line. So that's going to do it for this look at the Storm Collectibles Axe Battler and Dragon. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.